It's been a pretty big deal for Jacob leading up to this point. Emmerdale star Joe Warren Plant has revealed the full details of the special episode involving Jacob Gallagher, which is set to air next year. It was announced earlier this month that bosses at the ITV soap were planning an hour-long special, which would be set outside of the village, with the action following Jacob as he begins his work placement in the A&E department at the hospital. Ahead of the episode's premiere in the new year, Plant, who has played the character since 2010, teased elements of the storyline, sharing that the opportunity marks an important milestone for Jacob. For the last few years, we have seen Jacob have his head down in textbooks, studying for university with the aspirations of becoming a doctor, said Plant. So after many exams and countless hours of revision, the time has finally come for him to get his hands on experience. He is embarking on his first placement in A&E. He turns up at the hospital feeling energized and ready for the day. Knowing how long he has been waiting for this, he is proud of his new job, so before he starts his shift, he takes a quick selfie for social media. It's been a pretty big deal for Jacob leading up to this point. Part of him wants to take his friends and his family on his journey with him, added the actor before he detailed the ways in which Jacob would soon feel the pressure of the intense environment. Dr. Todd and Jacob meet for the first time, and you get the vibe that Dr. Todd is quite experienced within the hospital. She oversees the whole A&E area, and she has got an important job to do in bringing these new trainees in and giving them as much knowledge as she possesses in quite a short amount of time. So you get the vibe that although she is strict, she is also understanding. She is there to do her job and to also make it easier and as safe as possible for everybody involved. Jacob understands this and knows he is there to learn. He listens to her and takes it all on board. She tells him it's a 4-week placement and it starts with observations, and from that point on there are all the nurses and doctors to help the trainees along their way. After he has the induction with Dr. Todd, he is naturally a little nervous, but I wouldn't say it is his overriding thought. At that point, I think he's generally very excited. He's been dreaming of this day for a long time. So I think that is his main emotion, he continued. I think it's only later on in the day when the apprehensions start to show and he does start to feel a little overwhelmed. But at this point he is ready for it. Whilst Jacob will feel the heat in the hospital, Plant spoke about his own experience of filming on a new set, explaining that the new collaborators excelled in creating a chaotic atmosphere to match the subject matter. I remember turning up on the first day we were filming Leon's block in the hospital. I think the thing that stood out to me at first was the costume. Obviously, it was the first time I had ever worn a set of scrubs, so that immediately made it all feel different. It certainly helped set the tone for the rest of the day. The sets were also really busy. There are a lot of wonderful new artists and supporting artists that came in just for this one episode. I think it was important for them to create a chaotic environment to mirror what it can be like in a real A&E. In this episode, they also used the roaming Steadicam in a lot of the scenes. It felt different to the normal cameras that don't allow for a lot of movement. It was nice shooting these scenes, and they really put a lot of choreography into them. There were some really nice shots involved. I remember on the first day that we started in the hospital just realizing how much the crew and the cast all cared about what was being filmed. Everybody really wanted to make it work and were interested in how it looked. I knew I was in for a good milestone journey, behind the scenes of Emmerdale's special episode. For fans of Emmerdale, 2024 promises a storyline unlike any other, as Jacob Gallagher takes center stage in an hour-long special episode set outside the familiar surroundings of the Dales. This milestone for the character, played by Joe Warren Plant since 2010, will delve into his first foray into the high-stakes world of A&E medicine. Plant recently opened up about the episode, teasing key details and reflecting on the experience of filming what he calls a chaotic and exciting chapter for his character. Jacob's aspirations of becoming a doctor have been woven into his narrative for several years, a testament to the character's evolution from a troubled youth to a focused and determined young man. According to Plant, this upcoming storyline marks the culmination of Jacob's years of dedication. For the last few years, we've seen Jacob with his head buried in textbooks, studying relentlessly for university, Plant explained. His dream of becoming a doctor has driven him through countless exams and sleepless nights of revision. Now he finally has the opportunity to gain hands-on experience. The episode will follow Jacob as he begins his placement in the A&E department of a bustling hospital. It's a moment he has long anticipated, and one that he's eager to share with his loved ones. In a nod to the modern era, Jacob starts his day by snapping a selfie in his scrubs, ready to document this pivotal moment for social media. This small gesture underscores his excitement and pride, but as the day unfolds, Jacob quickly learns that the hospital environment is far from the controlled world of textbooks. A significant figure in this storyline is Dr. Todd, the no-nonsense yet compassionate mentor overseeing Jacob and the other trainees. Plant described her as a character who balances strict professionalism with a genuine desire to teach. Dr. Todd is incredibly experienced and commands respect within the hospital. She oversees the A&E area and plays a critical role in orienting new trainees, Plant said. While she's strict, she's also understanding. Her goal is to ensure that everyone, patients and trainees alike, is safe and supported. The relationship between Jacob and Dr. Todd is pivotal. From the moment they meet, Jacob understands the gravity of the environment he's stepping into. During their induction, Dr. Todd outlines the structure of the placement, emphasizing the importance of observation in the initial weeks. This practical guidance sets the tone for Jacob's journey, grounding his excitement with a clear sense of purpose. Despite his initial enthusiasm, Jacob soon discovers that the reality of working in A&E is overwhelming. The fast-paced, high-pressure environment begins to test his resilience and confidence. At the start of the day, Jacob is energized and ready to dive in, Plant shared. He's been dreaming of this moment for so long that excitement is his dominant emotion. But as the day progresses, the sheer intensity of the environment starts to weigh on him. He's surrounded by patients in distress, doctors and nurses rushing around, and a constant stream of critical decisions being made. It's a lot to take in. Plant's portrayal of Jacob's emotional journey promises to be a highlight of the episode. As Jacob grapples with his nerves and self-doubt, viewers will see a more vulnerable side of the character. This nuanced performance is bolstered by the authenticity of the hospital set, which Plant described as instrumental in immersing him in the role. The special episode was filmed on a meticulously designed set that captures the chaos and urgency of a real A&E department. From the costumes to the choreography, every detail was carefully considered to create an authentic atmosphere. I remember walking onto the set for the first time and being struck by how different it felt, Plant recalled. Wearing scrubs immediately put me in a different mindset, and the bustling environment of the set made it feel incredibly real. There were so many talented supporting artists who brought the scenes to life, creating the sense of controlled chaos you'd expect in an emergency department. One of the standout elements of the episode is the use of a roaming Steadicam, which adds a dynamic and immersive quality to the visuals. This technique allows for fluid movement through the crowded hospital corridors, capturing the frenetic energy of the setting. The Steadicam shots were incredible, Plant said. They required a lot of choreography, but the end result was worth it. The camera movement mirrors the unpredictability of the environment, making viewers feel like they're right there with Jacob. For Plant, the experience of filming this episode was defined by the dedication and passion of the cast and crew.